Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And it does seem the American media is starting to pick up on the fact that there is a major problem with China. How many times do we talk about that here? We try to figure out what is exactly and what are they exactly and how are they exactly and so forth and so on. We search. We try to get a feel for their economy. We try to understand their direction. And as I've said for a couple years now here, it's like they're an angry colony of ours. It's really odd. We don't have colonies, but we have districts. But it's like an angry colony. It's like some type of colonial colony. And they're angry at us. And at the same time, we buy more goods. We plow in something in a range of between 250 and 300 billion, not million, dollars a year into them. And they get more angrier with us, which is the weirdest thing of all. So, now everybody's starting to realize they're not growing. They're not going to grow grow the world out of the problems. Only America seems to be able to grow the world out of the world's problems. We see the slow drift away, or consistent drift. It's not slow, it's just consistent drift away from free markets and free people. The more money that they get from the United States, the more vicious they get against their own people and their environment. So now there's talk that it'll be 3% growth at best, and at the same time, some statistics now are showing that they'll never even supersede the United States whatsoever. Now, we've been saying that for a long time, but now we're seeing the U.S. media actually say it, which is kind of interesting. And I look at it, I don't understand what the viciousness is all about. What do they need to be vicious for? I guess they're like the Bidens. They've been buying American politicians, and they think that they can buy their way into resolving any of their problems. And what we see is, Mr. Biden's deeply in trouble. He's the same way. I mean, he's been, they've now found he's taken in over almost $22 million. They have that clearly and identified and where it's at and so forth. And now they say that they're going to go they will go as high as 51 million. Mr. Biden has taken in through China and Russia and Ukraine and Romania and who knows who else has been paying them money to pass policies that are favorable to them. And we just keep on seeing this strange event go on, and this is the reason people run to America. They run to America because they think that the politicians are going to be at least doing fair things, and they're not going to be shot and killed all the time in these other countries, and locked up and criminalized, and just all that mechanics, and people are saying this is crazy. This is just crazy. We're not used to this. We don't come to America to have the same criminal political situation going on as we have where we left from. And it just goes on and on and on. And so, this morning now, the U.S. media, and yesterday, they're starting to really talk about it. And I think it was the Post or the New York Times, it was the Post or the Wall Street Journal, said China will never become the world currency. And at the same time, I guess they're looking at the BRICS are getting together down in South Africa today. And they're hoping that there'll be, some strategy will come out that makes some sense. I myself am just waiting to see if they declare that Mexico will be part of the BRICS. I think Mexico would be crazy to do so, but it would be the king BRIC if they did. We've talked about that here, and this whole situation is getting uglier and uglier, and they're getting more. I guess you could say weaker and weaker. The China situation, and for the BRICS, there's no clarity whatsoever. And so we're going to, just sit back and watch what we can see and see what we can identify. I mean, that's usually the way it works. There was talk of, the real estate market has just collapsed in China. And they're talking about Evergrande, Evergrande, and how, they've collapsed. And I said the only thing I could use from it all was the fact that they wouldn't bail out. If they're really a $19 trillion economy, why aren't they bailing out, like a $375 billion problem? I mean, they, you could extend it, you could lend it, you could come up with all kinds of things. 50 billion here, 50 billion there, reorganize in that fashion. They missed a $126 billion payment. About 5 months ago, I guess it was 4 months ago in June, and now they've missed another one, a 240 some odd billion dollar payment. They just don't have the assets. They don't have the, none of it's making any sense. If they really have a currency, they go float bonds. If they really have a $19 trillion economy, they grow out of it. And right now, the American media, the left American media, is even saying it. They don't show any signs of growth. They don't see any signs of success, and they're starting to look like they're not going to make it, growing wise. And so that's the only way to get out of these problems is to grow them. Grow the profits, make more money. Get more money, and they don't seem to be doing any of that. So that is it for this morning when it comes to what we've been talking about here for months upon months and even years now. The media in the United States has finally woken up, so that's kind of entertaining and right in that fashion alone. All right, let's take a look at the dollar index. There's the dollar index. You see it over here. There's the weekly. Same thing with us. We're still up for weeks. There's strength over here, and there's strength over here, and you can see the blue line is. Where's the blue line? Blue line's trading at 94, and the slow line is trading at 84. So strength is still coming into it. Now we go over and look at it on a daily basis, and we're doing a little consolidation the last 2 days, or at least today. You can see it there. We did it over here. We broke into a little sell, and now it's jumped up. I guess that's with the American media starting to, kind of give the all clear, I guess you could say. Like, don't worry, you're still going to be here tomorrow, America. China is not going to be doing anything particular. All right, from there, we'll go take a look at the euro. Not there, we won't. There we are. And there's the euro. It went into a daily buy yesterday. Let's grab one of these buys. You know what? I'm going to grab the sell like that and just change the color. There we are. And the weekly is still in a weekly, and down below the zero line, even the fast is having its issues. Not getting through the zero line. We'll see if this lasts a couple days and then starts to roll over again. Let's put it up on J4X. Right there. There we are. There it is on J4X. See the same thing, a little strength for the last couple days. The fast is at 35, the slow is at 24, showing the strength, meaning up and away. Now from there, we slip over to Mr. and Mrs. Cable. Let's see what the cable's doing. Right there. You see it on J4X. Let's put it up over on Chicago Quant. Right there. It's been a daily buy now going on 4 days. 5 days, I'm sorry, 5 days. And it's just flirting with the daily sell here today a little bit, which is interesting. We've been in a weekly sell. You can see right here, for a couple weeks. The fast has been there around 5 weeks now. And you can see the same thing here. Strength still. It's starting to roll over a little bit on the lines. We're looking at 64 there, and we're looking at, is that 67? I think it's 66, 67. So we're seeing some weakness in the fast and slow stochastic, which makes sense, because we see it over here, and our algorithm is breaking down. And then let's take a look at it on a weekly basis. Right there. Let me just see. Hello, unknown caller. Oh well. Buckus. Alright, so there you go. You can see the cable. What is it? There's the weekly, and showing that pressure on it like it's been here. We went into the sell up in here and on a weekly basis, and it's been hanging out down there. Let me just pick this up. Hello, hello. Yes, you got them, but I'm in the middle of something. I won't be free again for another, what's that, 18? Another 48 minutes. If you can ring me back after 9:30 Eastern Standard. I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, okay. So, when it comes to the cable, the cable's been, I thought, more firmer in many ways than the euro. But both of them have been, leaking. The euro, most of the currency pairs have. They've all been kind of leakish, like a rowboat or a canoe or, some type of little boat that has water coming in softly. Same thing, they've been working their way down. You can see here the weekly was the same way. It broke down in this area here from the top. Didn't break the zero line. Let's move that zero line right to there. There's the zero line. And you can see it finally broke down right in here for the fast, and then the slow joined in about a week and a half later, and it really hasn't gone anywhere. It's kind of like the bottom of it all. And it was the same way with the euro, and it didn't seem like it had that much pressure on the downside. Just sloppy summertime action, which we seem to be moving away from. It's the was it the 22nd now? So we should be seeing a little bit more, let's see, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit more action, I guess, starting to get going again. They have the, the primaries in Iowa, and I'm sorry, the primaries in 24, but they have I guess a debate. I guess you could call it a debate. Sometimes it doesn't really look like debates anymore. But it was some type of debate starting tomorrow night, and that will be putting pressure onto the marketplace also. On a good way, I think, not a bad way. And matter of fact, I saw a headline by somebody, Nomura. Now that I thought of that, I saw a headline by Nomura, the big brokerage bank in Japan, say that the window is closing when it comes to buying stocks. In other words, they think that the cheapness is now, and they say bonsai. They say go buy. They're doing it to the tech stocks. You can see the tech stocks are really getting going. Okay, here's Swiss. Swiss has been in that daily buy. It didn't make it because we had a green in here. Let's see if we can widen this so you can see that better with those Bollinger Bands. Like that. There we are. You can see the green in there. So we're still in the daily buy. The weekly went into the weekly last week. Nice right here, but the product, we're not really looking for a lot of action out of this thing. We keep on thinking that it's just going to go sideways more than it's going to go flying up. Seems like they've resolved their financial problems. And that's good. Switzerland had some banks that had some issues, and they cleaned it up. They did. The Chinese should send some people over to Switzerland to learn. You have problems, you clean the problems up since you're the responsible party, especially when you're a state sponsored and control. You're removing the capitalism, and you own. It'd be one thing if they didn't, but you know what? The Chinese actually own something crazy like 80% of the businesses there. So, or they have investments in them, one or the other. So if you're an owner, why aren't you helping your company out? That's the bigger question. China, Switzerland saw what the issue was, and they resolved it. They borrowed money, they helped bail out the bank, and then they started finding partners to buy parts of the bank. That's how you, as a successful economy, that's how you do it. And China seems to be oblivious to that fact. All right, from there we slide over to Yenski. There's the Yenski. See, it's trying to lift up again today. A lot of noise in there. Slid into the sell right here 2 days ago, and now we're already climbing. And look at the manifold. The manifold is tightening up like it is here. Oh, you can't see that. So do that again. The manifold is getting tight like here, and we had a big move down. Now we have this really tight manifold right there. Let's see if we can find the last time we saw a manifold that tight. Right there. And they gave it a big pop up and went from 33-ish and change to 38, a 5-handle move. I think a 5-handle move will take out the 40-year high. Yeah. So this thing's getting ready to coil like a cobra. Quiet morning, no questions? Nobody wants to see anything particular? All right. Then from there, we slide over to Turkish lira. Let me just put the, what was that? That was yen. Let's put yen up on J4X first. Right there. There we are. You see that strength, 92 and 80. That's the weekly. And the daily, 59 and 61. It's trying to get going. It's trying to lift up above it. You need this to be at like 62 or 63 to really confirm on this system. Over here, we're just doing it, but we have the. Let's go back to it real quick. The dots, slowing it down, and it's down just a little bit today. But you can see the algorithm itself is breaking through. And that's a real noisy point there when you see the time manifolds, the mirror image lines here, the standard deviation. I like to call it a time manifold when we incorporate our math with it. And let's see, what else we got to say about any of it? I guess that's about it. All right, now from there, we'll go over to the Turkish lira. And there's Turkish lira. And a little higher today than it was yesterday. Keeps on trying to push up. It closed in a daily buy yesterday. It touched the 30 area. But we are still playing with the weekly sell for the first time in 20 some odd weeks, I think it is. 25, half a year at least. We've been in a weekly buy since late March. So April, May, June, July, August. That's 5 months right there. So we're looking at almost half a year, like 26 weeks would be half a year. And we have done like 21 weeks in a buy. It's a lot. A lot. Maybe it's 22 weeks. We should take a look and see what our... see if we can open that up the oh, here, we'll do it over here. Where's that mouse at? Because it's on the spreadsheet. So we'll take a look and see. Right there we go. All right. It's opening. Turkish lira is 23 weeks in a weekly buy. 23 weeks. Wow. So 3 more weeks, it would be half a year. And that's why right now, I guess, we get into these big trends in this product. It's flirting with the weekly sell right there. It's interesting to watch this product in particular. We've never seen, we've never really watched a currency fall this much apart that was almost a EU country. Remember, for a long time they were negotiating about being part of the European Union. And their currency's gone from, 1 to 30. Wow. Boy, did the European Union miss that one. What pressure that would be right now. All right. From there, we go over to the Mexican peso. Let's see what the peso is up to. I don't think we got a chance to look at it yesterday. There's right there. And it's just been kind of quiet after that big pop. And, it'll be interesting to see what news comes out of South Africa today from it. Something might be going on there with that, too, at the same time. I, myself, would be surprised if they joined the BRICS. The BRICS are looking, first of all, China, who wants to create the BRICS, is very weak. So they're not going to be able to lift the BRICS. Are they really going to put gold to a currency or some type of note and have it exercisable? Don't see that happening. So there's no value to this BRIC situation. If the Mexican peso is in there, it becomes the most major currency of them all. It has production of 4 or 5 million barrels a day. It trades more with the United States than China does, which is a big number right there. And at the same time, it borders the United States. So there's lots of opportunity there. And what we see now is the Mexican peso holding very strong against the dollar and not really letting go. It vacillates at these 6-year lows type of thing, just hanging around there. All right, from there we'll slide over to the South African Rand right there. And we'll put it up on J4X real quick too. Right there. And you can see as it's rolling over, that's usually a sign that gold is moving up right there. And it's trying. It's been on this long glide down, going from 2,000 and change down to 1920, losing $180, or basically about 4%, 4.6%, something like that. You can see it's trying to get into the buy today. We are in a weekly sell for 3 weeks. The fast has been in a weekly sell since the 1970s area, 1980s area, right there. And it doesn't seem to be the buying that we all think. Ooh, look at that Rand jumping around. Is it really? Yeah, I guess so. That's wild. They must have made a statement about something. Wow. What is that? 81.48 versus 1881.24 bid and 1881 offer. It's kind of wide. Let's see if it's going to touch 82. 1882 on an offer. Just did it. No, it's going the other way. Now it's dropping. 80s. So we should be seeing some gold action with that. Let's see. Let's give it a spin. Wonder if they made any announcements. It's just jumping around, isn't it? South African Rand is hosting the BRIC nations. So, and without Mexican peso, then the South African rand is the strongest brick. And that economy is in bad shape. So, I mean, it just keeps on getting worse. China's economy is bad. Brazil's economy is bad. Russia's economy is bad. And South Africa's economy is bad. So, you know, they really need Mexico to come in and save them. That's really what it comes down to. Interesting. They drove it down 1880 and change. Now they're back up to 1881. Let's see, there you go. Now they traded 1882. They must have released some news from the meeting. Let me just see if we can find some news. Let's see. Let's go to one of the news sites. Or better yet, let's just Google it and see what's going on. Let's see, BRICS. South African Conference. Let's see, how much is BRIC in South Africa? BRIC. Let's see. There we are. BRICS Summit 23 live. Oh, that's cool. China's broadcasting it live. President X arrives. That's right, he's there. What is the BRICS Summit 23? South Africa finalizes 15th BRIC Summit. Cool. Let's see what else can we see out of this thing. Let's see, where's the Rand at? Rand's just kind of hanging around there. You see, President. Okay. Don't really see much. No real news out of it. Just a nice headline. Let's see if we're getting anything on, say, like a zero hedge.
Market data connection lost. Market data connection.
Wow, they're really chewing President Biden up in Hawaii. I think they've lost 800 and some odd children from that fire. Let's see. They think they were incinerated. Killing 114, leaving 850 missing, only to crack an inappropriate joke and lie about his wife's almost dying in a fire. I don't know. Biden is a lunatic. He is really a lunatic. Thank goodness we have the Constitution that keeps him under control. Just shows you how easy it is to run the United States in some ways. Wow. 850 missing children. They think they got incinerated. Ugh. It's horrible. All right. I don't see any other. I guess Mr. Biden is sucking up the news. Home builders. If we press this. No, I don't see anything on South Africa. And when I went to South African. Let's see if there's a news button. Media room. Let's see what it says. Press statements. Let's see. Today. Presidency notes conclusion of. No. Let's see. Media programming income. No. Nothing so far. All right. Well, we'll keep our eyes open and our ears open, and we'll hope to see something. All right. Let's go over to. That's gold. And they're not lifting gold up, which is kind of interesting because they were pushing it down the South African rand against the dollar a little bit there, but there it is again, offered at 1880.95. So they're pushing it down a little bit, and gold itself is dropping, not rising. So whatever is going on, it's not good for gold, which is odd because usually when the South African rand is going down, that's always a good sign that gold should be going up. What's been interesting is gold's been going down, but silver's been going up. Look at silver here. Silver's in the daily buy for 4 days now, and the weekly is trying to turn up. But it's just flat for the day at 23.34. And it's been a nice little bounce. It's like a dollar gain from the 22.30s area to the 23.30s area, with a high today of 50. So, or 51, I think it is. So, there's a lot of different pressures out there. I mean, from the 30-year bond in the United States being in the 420s now, and the 2-year Treasury bond trading at 5, and the 1-year trading at 5.5 almost. There's a lot of pressure out there in a lot of strange directions. And I guess, when in doubt, buy stocks. I don't know. At first they sold them down. Now they seem to be reaching for them. So it's definitely going in a couple of different directions there at this moment in time. They are definitely pressing it all. They are. All right. From there, let's take a look at copper. Copper's been in a daily buy for a couple of days. You can see that. It was much higher this morning. We always say this is like looking at, China, since it's used a lot in China. Supposedly they did that classic thing that President Roosevelt did back in Theodore Roosevelt. Franklin. I'm sorry. Let's see. Yeah, not Teddy Roosevelt. Franklin Roosevelt, his uncle or second cousin, or I think it was second cousin. There was this situation where they would hire people to dig holes and then pay them to fill the holes back in again, so that they could give them incomes. And in this case here, they built what they call ghost cities, and they just built cities, skyscrapers, and so forth. And then after they're done, they knock a skyscraper down, and then they go and build it again. So it's a way of generating jobs, but not growth. That doesn't generate growth. I guess they really don't understand capitalism at all. That's probably why they're all confused all the time. So, as I chew on some peanuts here, let's see. Let's take a look at the last of them, and that is platinum. And here's platinum. It's been climbing for like the last 4 days also. Now, it went into the buy 3 days ago, right here. And, you can see the strength in it. It's come from the 883 low, all the way up to now to 932 high. That's a pretty good move for a product that's trading in the 8s and the 9s, What else we got here? That's the metals. Basically, that shows us the whole metal situation. Let's go back to gold. Gold looked like it was trying to go into the minus. It was a little odd there. Especially with the South African rand right here. Gaining. When it's going down, it's gaining against the dollar, which is normally strength for the metals complex. And maybe later on today, if this keeps on falling like this, we may see that. We may see the gold market finally turn back up. And silver seems to be, as you can see here, when we go back to silver, silver has been climbing. It's been holding on pretty well. We just need the weeklies to turn around. All right, from there, we'll go to the Canadian. Let's put the Canadian up there. That's been on a rampage too, in a very odd way. All right, there. You can see this is the daily. Look at it. It's been just roaring up. You would assume that oil would be, trading at $65 a barrel right now with the way that thing's been going. But it's not. Looking at front month October oil, you can see there it's trading just a little underneath $80. It ran up to about 80, almost 84, and it's about 3.5. Let me go see that high again. 83.91. So yeah, about 84. So it's down a little better than $4. And you can see we've been daily sell from that topping action, and now we're flirting with the weekly sell again. Now that would be normal for the Canadian dollar to go flying up, but instead it missed this whole move. So here we saw oil back in the last couple days of June, going into July, and it moved from the 67 area all the way up to the 84ish area. Now coming back over here to J4X, which is a good example of looking at it. Let's see, where is it at? There is it right there? That is, let's do this. Let's just widen it a little bit. And there is the June right here. And that's what that did. It bottomed out. Let's see if we can do this. Right. Let's see like that. So it bottomed out. Is that the Canadian now? No, that's oil. Let's go back to the Canadian. Right there. So you can see there that's okay. So we need to contract that. And so there's the June market right here, and then that's South African rand. CAD. There we are. And you can see right here, there's your June market right there, rallied up and made another new low. It did the same thing here. And when we look at gold just started to climb, and didn't correct until the later part of July. It was a very small correction, so we never made that second low in here, and it just kind of in other words, they both bottomed here, ran up, and then it failed totally. And that made sense at the time. It was gaining against the dollar with that rampage of gold. I'm sorry, oil. Sorry about that, oil. And it rampaged, and then it fell. What is that? That's the first week of July. So it did this, and then there's your 7th. It fell down, which, in this case here, made sense. When oil goes down, Canadian should be going up, but it didn't. It's almost like it reversed itself. And so then you see this massive move up on the upside here from the high 60s. And the next thing you know, that's CAD itself. So it's the 131 area to 32, whereas run to 30, almost 36, and oil ran instead of going down. You would have thought it would have been trading at 65 with that big move action out of there, but it didn't. So here's a point where the Canadian has broken away from the energy sector again. Now we've seen many times the Canadian cleans itself up and starts to trade with oil. But in this case here, it's on its own at this point, and it's not a really pretty picture. It'd be one thing if it was gaining in value against the dollar, but instead it's getting beat up against the dollar. All right, now from there, we'll take a look at Brent. And we'll put the Canadian up on Chicago Quant, because we'll look through the energies now. And there's the CAD. And here is Brent. Right there. And you can see Brent has been on a tear. This is a daily, and it's been on a tear since back in here. And it just kept on roaring, just roaring up. Now it's losing some value but the Canadian is just kind of sitting there. Let's take a look at crude oil itself. Right there, light sweet crude. Same massive run. The Canadian barely can budge out of it. Then let's do this too. This is the front month. Let's go over to that just to show you. Here's the front month crude oil is now the October contract, trading at 79. Let's call it 90, 79.90, and the December contract is trading at 79.28. So basically 62 cents, 64 cents, something like that. 60 cents. So we're seeing, we saw over $1 and change at one point where there was heavy demand. And you can see that the demand is drifting. We're not seeing that heavy demand anymore. Where it's $1, it's only trading at 60 cents or so. So if they start taking the October contract, then it says they need the inventory for producing more than usual. Let's put it that way. Now from there, let's take a look at natural gas. There it is right there. American natural gas is trading at $2.58 a cubic. And over in Europa, what we do is we use this gas company. Where is it at? Right here. This is a Spanish energy company, and it seems to be always marching along. You can see that nice big drop that it's had. And let's just put it up over here too. There's the nat gas right there. It's had a nice little drop from the $3 area down to the $2.50 area, and hanging out at $2.58 now. Whereas in Europe, it's trading in the $25 area, so 10 times more expensive. Ouch! Definitely a ouch. An ouch. All right, now from there, we can show you how it looks on our work. Bring that over. There is that product on our new platform we're working on. And if anybody would like to try our platform for free for a few months, be my guest. Just contact Robin. Let's see if I can find the website. Just go to this. Right there. And there's an email in there and so forth on that website. You can email them or call them. There's the phone number, and you can email or call them. Let me put it back up there for this reason. I want to see the chart again. Okay, so let's find that energy company, Spanish energy company. We got Hong Kong there too. We'll have to check that out afterwards. Right there. There's the energy company. It's trying to lift up today. You see that? It's above the manifold as we speak at 0.01999999919. So it's trying to lift up. And same token, you can see the weeklies have been in a sell for 3 weeks. This is our new platform. It's what we call an interactive platform. You can go back and check, see where it's at. It's only 15-minute delayed, so it's not bad. You can see anything and everything, the currencies and the grains and so forth. Let me just show you what the cable looks like right there. There's a cable. See, cable's trying to get into that daily sell, as we talked about. And we've been in a weekly sell. See it right there. All right. That pretty much concludes the energy side of this conversation. Now from there, let's go and take a look at some of these other international currencies and so forth. You can see here there is the Hong Kong. Where's that at? I want to find the Hong Kong again. with all that problem going on over there. Yeah, look at that drift. It's fallen from 14,500-ish area down to 13,000. That's definitely a smasheroo. Still in a daily sell for the last couple days. And in a weekly sell now for over 3 weeks. Let's check out, as that is going down, let's see what the Dow Jones Industrial Average in the States is doing. There it is there. It's trying to dig down. It's been in a sell for a bunch of days, and now it's getting into a buy. I think it's been in a weekly sell like 3 weeks now. I think that's what it says on the spreadsheet. Let me see. Actually, we don't even have it on the spreadsheet. We just have S&Ps and what's the other one? We have the NASDAQ or the Tech 100. Let's see. Save. I've got the spreadsheet up. Save as. There we are. Alrighty. Let's just save this as we're speaking. Today is 23/23. Cool. Save. There we go. Alright, now from there, did we get that? Yeah, we got the Hong Kong. The Hong Kong's getting clocked. The Dow went from 35, basically higher than that, 35, like, I don't know, 7, down to 34, 5 or 4, or something like that, even lower, 3 possibly. So it has fallen just recently in the last week and a half. And most products have. So, you know, China's not alone. It's just that we're starting to bounce. Let's see. Are they bouncing today? I would think so. A little bit. Nothing major. Still a lot more weakness. And definitely a more sharper drop. Let's take a look at the volatility index. There's the volatility index. And it went into a sell yesterday, and it's still showing some pressure today. I guess they were all excited, you know, trying to buy VIX in the 12s and the 14s or something like that. 13s, I guess it is. 13 and 12s. And it has roared up to the 19 area. And now we are finding ourselves in the high 16s. And I think we're in a weekly buy for, 3 weeks. Just like the stock indices are in weekly sells for 3 weeks. And then, what do we got here? There's copper. That's the September copper. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, buy for 3 days now. And the weekly has been in a sell for 4 weeks. So that pressure is on that at the same time. They don't seem to be able to get it out of its own way. That's the way most of the metals are at this point. They just don't have any real strength. In a world of inflation and confusion, in many ways, I've been saying over and over again, the markets look like it to me that they're anticipating a Mr. Trump victory. Because they sell him down a little bit, and then they lift him and make him higher. Every time he goes up in the polls, they get even more excited on the upside. And it doesn't seem to stop. All right, now from there, let's see, from there, let's take a look at the S&P 500. Well, here's the Tech 100 right there. It's in a buy for a second day. It's trying to dig its way out. It's been drifting for, since the middle of July. You can see the weekly's been in that sell since, July 7th, 31st. The last week of July, is that right? 7/31, that last week. So the pressure's been on for a while now. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, did I do S&Ps? I didn't do the S&Ps. Let's see the S&Ps. Right there. There's the S&Ps. You see the little strength trying to kick out again this morning like everywhere else. And the weekly is in a sell. Now let's check out Bitcoin. Here's the cash of Bitcoin, which is interesting. Went into the daily buy yesterday, I thought. Yeah, it did. It jumped into a daily buy yesterday. It's trying to flirt right back into the daily sell. And it's been in that weekly sell for like, 6 weeks now. And, that pressure has been on there. That's that alternative that we keep on hoping one day will be. Right now, it was interesting. Of the last 6 months, 7 months now, it led the markets for a long while. For like 4 months, it was leading the markets. But, they're just not. It just hasn't done it. The vice president says she just found herself. She's a strange one. All right. So what else we got here today? Anybody want to see a stock or anything? If not, we'll just get out of here. It doesn't seem like anybody's into us today. It's quite all right. We've gone through all the currencies. Anybody want to see a currency? They want to see a stock? They want to see a metals? Energies? Name it. We'll go to it. If not, we got to come up with a title today. I guess it could be, the title today would be like, China, America sees China falling apart. Something like that, because that's exactly what's going on. I haven't seen media like this on China in the United States for a long time. Usually the media just gushes about China, but not the last couple days. Doc, I've been on top of China for a couple of weeks now. It's been pretty obvious to me. You can't default on these things and try to claim that you're going to be some type of world power at the same time. It just doesn't work that way. Business is just business, All right. So, I guess we're going to say arrivederci at this point. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. We will see you Wednesday morning, same time, same channel. And it'll be interesting to see what comes out of South Africa. If anybody does see something, I can't wait to hear from you about it. So, ta-ta for now.